something into the mic for me.
What do you need?
Give me a little bit more.
What? Give me more of what?
Give me a little bit more.
A little bit more?
A little bit more. Yes.
A little bit more?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Cool. Now that's a good girl. Excuse me. Hey, Stage Toy. How about you give me a little bit?
I'm not going to survive this recording.
Yay!
Yeah, but the death will only be a little death.
What is a little death?
Le petit mot.
What?
That means you're gonna nut. In French.
Warning, this is an adult-oriented podcast about really perverse things like communication and consent. If you are under 18 and looking for answers to questions about sex or kink, please visit scarletteen.com. For the Dude Bro listeners, this is the nerdy shit. Fuck off!
From Bakersfield to Mount Olympus, Gotham Press talks naughty business. Sexual topics to explore your whoredom. Good if you're new or a kinky Yoda. Gotham Press Podcast. The nerdy kinksters your parents warned you about.
Okay, let's see here. Hey, it actually looks good for me if I'm talking right now. Now, sir, give me a little bit more.
Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers.
Hey, I can see stuff from you now, too. That's cool.
Excellent, excellent.
All right, I'm going to turn you on. Actually, yeah, I'm going to turn you. Are you turned on?
You do that to me pretty much every day.
Oh, tell me more.
We text quite a bit, and you inspire me to take and send quite a lot of photos.
Oh, here I inspired you to go get clean a lot.
Yes, I do take a lot of showers these days.
I've been neglecting my texting, apparently.
Yeah, you have.
Oh. So tell us, why has he been neglecting his texting?
Because I'm not taking enough showers, apparently.
Ooh. Is that why it is?
I don't know what you're talking about.
No one does. That's the problem.
Never forget that we have brought a previously professional sex phone operator to the channel.
The fuck is a sex phone?
It's like a phone sex operator, only with John fucking up the order of the words.
We prefer to be called telephone actresses.
I'm sorry. We have a former telephone actress performing her act for us this evening.
You do. Her name's Molly.
Who's Molly?
That actually was my name.
Molly, huh?
Mm-hmm.
That's my niece's name.
Awkward.
Awkward. Okay. All right. It looks like things are at least trying to come through properly now.
Coming.
So here's what we're going to do. We're going to see how well we can make this all come together.
Let's see what you did there.
You saw me come?
Together.
Oh, my.
Right there.
Right now.
Over me.
I was gonna say over Stage Toy, but you know, if you went over you, I'm sure they'd be willing to accommodate you.
I don't know. I prefer to be on the floor, looking up.
I mean, she can still be under you.
I don't see how the mechanics of these are working out in your head.
I can.
Do tell.
Fill her in.
Fill her in.
That's the
so
point, yes.
Good.
You're a little too far from the mic.
Because I'm trying not to, breathe heavy and laugh straight into it all the
Please
time.
do. Please do.
Breathe out.
We need to get her a breathing pillow for.
Do you need some water?
Some
No,
liquid.
I'm just going to end up spitting it all over the mic, so let's not do that.
Spit
That happened last night, actually. Not for her, but I made somebody do a spit take, and it was fucking hilarious.
I missed that.
Into a
I
mic?
think.
You
Was
did
I busy?
You were busy.
Oh,
you were
okay.
you were face deep into someone at that
Yes.
time.
Okay.
Oh?
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, we missed quite a bit.
Putting
I
away
think.
nuts for the winter.
Something like that.
I was getting a drink, just not of water.
All right. Real quick, because I just realized we didn't go over this before I started doing all this. You are
I am Hidden Jan.
Indian. You are
Stage toy.
Stage Toy. You are
Lovely pariah.
all right. So we have Jen. We have Toy or Stage.
Toy.
All right.
please.
I just wanted to make sure. I want to be
Hi,
clear.
toy.
And we know that you're just a lovely pariah, but pariah for short.
Yeah.
Are you okay over there?
No.
Why not?
I'm jealous.
That she's a toy?
No.
Why are you jealous?
Torment.
Torment?
I don't know what she's talking about.
I don't know either.
Okay, Miracle Whip.
Hey, listeners, welcome back to the Gotham Press podcast. I'm just going to say this at the top here. The sound may be a little bit off because my equipment's acting wonky. It seems to be going well right now. Let's hope it keeps doing that.
I also hope your equipment continues to work well.
Properly functioning equipment is important for a day-to-day.
A day-to-day toying?
Yeah.
All right. Beautiful. Do we have the show notes up for anybody?
No.
Don't be
In
silly.
about 2 seconds. 1 Mississippi. 2 Mississippi.
I like the delay on that.
It's because I'm not connected to the Wi-Fi. It was kind of slow.
Why don't you connect to the Wi-Fi?
I
I'm
don't
not
know.
connected to the
Never-
Wi-Fi either.
And you both know me and have seen me multiple
Well,
times.
Yeah, Thief has put my phone on it before too, so I'm surprised. It should auto-connect.
It should.
Wait. It is.
Yes,
Hey.
those are the show notes.
Well, I wasn't sure if you'd had them available. No.
I have them. Yes. All right. So here is the important thing, and I need to update that actually because that is no longer that. That is now 5. Yes, this is episode 5 of season 9, and we just went over everything. But let me do it for the official recording. So to my left, I have the one, the only, the incomparable in anything relating to Star Wars, dinosaurs.
Fig Newtons.
What's your other thing? Star Wars, dinosaurs, and
You seem to think I know a fair amount about Godzilla.
yes, Godzilla. That's the other thing. Wait, I just think that? Is that not a true statement?
It has been alleged.
By yourself.
I do know a thing or two about Godzilla.
Okay. That is Hidden John. All right, and in front of me this time we have a first timer to the podcast.
Yay.
But someone who has been binging the podcast quite a bit since she learned of it. We have the illustrious Stage Toy. Hi, Toy.
Hi.
You look so nervous for your first time.
You know, who isn't nervous their first time?
I don't know. Weirdos.
It'll only hurt a little bit.
That's disappointing.
I heard a lot.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. So real quick, while you're recording, make sure your mouth is facing the mic when you look around at people. Because if you don't, you get really low.
He means quiet.
He said put it in your mouth.
And who is telling people to put things in their mouth?
You told her to do that.
That I did, but who was the person that re-upped on that for me?
Lovely pariah.
Lovely Pariah. Hey, you've been here more than once.
I have.
Hey, and you keep coming back.
You should cut me open and count the rings.
That seems terrifying. I am not going to do that because that's murder at that point. Anyway. Hi, listeners. As always, this is your captain taking you on this adventure of whatever this becomes. So before we get into the nitty gritty of things, we always need to thank our sponsors. And one of our big sponsors one of the biggest sponsors for our podcast are our patrons. So thank you, patrons, over at patreon.com/Gotham Press Podcast. If you want to become a patron and join in the fun and the revelry and even get these episodes a little bit early, you can join us for the, if you just want to help support us, we take as little as $1 a month. If you want to get your stuff early, that's going to be $5, the $5 enough level. If you go higher than that, you get more perks. You should definitely go check that out. For our other sponsors, our physical sponsors that give us things that we can touch, taste. Wait a second, that didn't sound right. Touch and enjoy. Let's see. First things first, we have Carmilla the First. She is amazing. She's beautiful. She has an OnlyFans. You should definitely go check that out and support her because the more you support her, the more enjoyment you will get out of your life. I promise. That's a captain seal of approval. As everybody at the table looks at me like, what the fuck? You shut up, John. No. It's an audio medium. You actually need to talk.
Well, you told me to shut up, so I was shutting up.
You shut up so
You actually listen to me
good.
for once?
Every so often, I like to keep you on your toes.
Ah, that's what it is. All right. But one of the other sponsors we have is a far more physical thing. They give you paddles from JW Paddles. Exotic hardwood that can be customized for your desires. Have you had a JW paddle, John?
I have, and I've been very pleased with its quality and how long I've been able to use it.
Do you have anybody specific you're using it on these days?
Yes.
All right. And how do they feel about it?
They're not a paddle fan, so
Oh,
it's
no.
been fun.
That is not how that is. That how that works in your house?
Only when appropriate.
Only when appropriate. All right. Are either of you lovely ladies fans of paddles?
No.
Well, that's a no from the toy.
Ask Power Daddy?
Who is that?
I'm just fucking around.
Who is this?
Inspector Gadget. I don't know what the fuck he uses on
I'll
this.
say. Just whatever you feel behind you.
I don't know. He's used a couple of paddles, and I'm usually very run away from them, but there's a little sadist twist to it that works sometimes.
They get you more into it.
I'm assuming that's kind of what we're talking about over here.
Okay.
No, I kind of feel the same way. I'm like, paddles in general, no thank you. But also when you're using it on me, I'm like, okay, thank you.
Yeah, a little bit of that.
All right. So what I'm hearing is try and see what. Fuck around and find out is what I'm hearing.
It's a head game. We'll put it that way.
Oh
Yeah.
my.
Yeah.
So something away from the paddles, some sort of a touch that we all seem to enjoy from some guy that robs you or something. What was it called? A thief, I
I
think.
believe it was a thief.
So thief's touch. What was that?
Someone who's received thief's touch.
And so, since you seem to have an intimate knowledge of this, what does thief's touch provide?
Thief's Touch provides the best fucking vloggers on the goddamn planet.
The best vloggers on the goddamn planet?
Yes, if you would like all of your thoughts removed from your brain, please purchase one immediately.
I'm looking across at Toy, and she's nodding in agreement on this.
Because I believe you've used a number of his vloggers on me, and my thoughts shut right off.
All right, so listeners, if you want to turn someone's brain completely off, invest in a Thief's Touch vlogger.
Or two.
Or as many as you can afford.
All of them.
All of them.
You gotta get the matching finger vloggers.
Oh, yeah.
Excuse me, Man About Town, you seem to be very silent over there.
I am looking forward to buying my first Thief's Touch vlogger soon.
Okay. All right, let's see here. And lastly, on our sponsor list, for those of you that have littles, middles, people that enjoy a bit of age play, we highly recommend that you invest in a Steel Brat Passy. Pacifiers for all of your adult passy needs. Don't just go to the store and just buy a standard pacifier. They're a little too small for adult mouths. They're not meant for adult mouths. You buy a custom one from Steel Brat Passies. They'll get in contact with you, find out what you want your passy to be. Not just something off the rack, but what you want. And makes it custom for you and stands by the quality of those pacifiers. So that's Steel Brat Passies.
Guess what mine says?
What does yours say?
Good girl.
Good girl?
Good girl.
Are you a good girl?
Very good girl.
A very good girl. Okay. Pariah,
Yeah.
you're such a good girl.
Thank you.
Hey, listeners, when you hear this, please go find lovely Pariah on FetLife and make sure you tell her that she is a very, very good girl.
What? But I'm a good girl.
Yes, you are. And we're going to make sure everybody tells you that you're a good girl.
Don't do that. I'm a neutral girl.
Wait, should I find Thief to see if he agrees with that?
Okay.
Let's see here. So, listeners, also, if you would like to talk to us and just, leave us a little voice message to tell us how much you love this podcast or how good of a girl Pariah really is, you can give us a call at 805-303-1173. And when you give us that call and leave us that message, I will make sure that she hears each and every one of them.
You could do a special episode just listening to her react,
Ooh.
hearing those messages.
That would be great.
We were friends. I thought you liked me.
Yes. Do you not remember me saying you are my number one voyeur crush? Getting to watch you and listen to you does so much for me.
Sounds like a Patreon special reward.
It
Lovely
does.
Pariah reacts.
Yes. Oh, Pariah, are you going to be okay?
No.
Why not?
I don't know.
All right. So, listeners, for anything that we've just talked about, all that information will be in our show notes on the episode. So you can go ahead and look in there. Just find out exactly what we're talking about and where to go for it. But hey, let's get to the actual show.
Yay.
Yay. You know what? Let's do this. So last episode, I decided to start a new thing called Guest Inquiry, where I just have a quick question. What is your particular flavor of nerd or kink? We're going to start with you, John.
Well, nerd we already discussed a little earlier. Star Wars, Star Trek, Godzilla, a few other things. As far as my flavor of kink, I tend to be into impact play as a top.
Okay. All right. And what about you, Toy?
Well, with nerd, I'm a bookworm. I play single player RPG games, but I don't know a lot about the lore and stuff. I just play things for fun. I watch shows because I enjoy them. And with kink, I am primarily a bottom for impact, especially, and rope, and I'm getting a little bit into co-topping for impact, and I've definitely got an embarrassment kink, and this podcast is feeding into it in the worst way.
Hey, John,
Yes, Cap.
would you say it's the worst way?
Oh, it seems to me to be the best way.
Looks pretty good to me.
I'm not looking at you people.
You people.
I'm not looking at any of you.
Why aren't you looking at us? Do you not like us? Are we ugly to you?
I didn't say that.
You did not say that, but if you don't want to look at us, how are we supposed to feel?
I don't know. My brain doesn't work right now. Go talk to Pariah.
I thought we were friends.
Okay, so Pariah, how about you?
What was the question?
What is your particular flavor of nerd and kink?
Gummy clusters. Nerd-wise, forensics, debate, stuff like that. They are called the same.
I'm sorry, did you say forensics and debate are the same?
They are. They're debate, speech and debate are referred to as forensics.
Oh, I'm thinking you're talking about like crime forensics.
No, that's why I clarified.
Thank you for that, because I would have been very confused.
No, and all the topics that go kind of within that. So I'm a big nerd about having really interesting conversations with people.
Okay.
So pick a topic, and that's usually fun for me.
All right, so my very limited knowledge of debate is there's a 1, there's a 2, and somebody spreads.
And I'm definitely the 2.
You're the 2 and you're spreading for the 1?
Sure.
Everybody that's
Depends on how well they flow.
Here's the everybody that is actually into debate just heard me say that, and it's like, that is not how it works. They're yelling at me right now. I can
All
hear
3
it.
of us. 2 of the 3 are here.
We have more than 2 listeners in the world.
We have 3. It's you, me, and it's Hidden Jen, me, and Splicer. That's pretty much it.
There are more people in the world that do debate. You know that, right?
I would love to see this Venn diagram.
This
I
Venn
really would.
diagram. All right. And what about your flavor of kink?
It's really, for me, about energy exchange and headspace. So I'm completely a bottom, not even a little switchiness in me. I am very much into whatever creates the reaction that the top is looking for.
Whatever creates that reaction. Okay. All right. Well, that was a quite the start.
Love impact play though.
Do you?
Love rope, love wax.
Rope, wax, and impact. Okay. Well, got to find somewhere that does that for you. I have no idea where that could possibly be at here in this town. Nothing like that happens here.
Never.
Toy, are you being stared at by John?
Yes.
I didn't even see what was going on. I just saw your reaction. Oh, this is going to be super fun. Hey, let's get to an actual topic first before John sends Toy into fits of giggles.
I was just curious what she was thinking about in that moment before I started looking. That was all.
Oh. What were you thinking?
I was thinking about watching Pariah reacting to anything that her top is doing.
Oh, my.
I don't know why.
We know why.
Well, like everybody else knows. So.
Okay.
All right. But hey, let's move over to something a little bit more friendly for you. Who here has seen Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man?
Me. Some of it.
I saw a trailer.
You saw 2 trailers.
I saw 2 trailers.
You did see 2 trailers.
Double trailers.
So, for the person that has not seen the actual show, just from the trailers, what's your impression?
Looks like they're going with an interesting, different direction for him. They have him using sort of the homemade, not polished suit that we typically see him in for a lot of the trailer, at least. And they have him working directly with Norman Osborn as a teenager, which is probably a direction that's been taken at some point in some of the spin-off comics, but
Definitely a change from the standard.
Not right. So, I mean, every adaptation of a comic takes the character and milieu in a different way and remixes it in ways that are convenient for that. So, I guess it'll be interesting to see how that plays out in practice.
Okay. So, at the time of this recording, all 10 of the episodes for season 1 are out and have been out for a couple of weeks, I think, now. So, there will be spoilers. Is everybody okay with the spoilers?
Yeah, I still have an episode, I think, to finish. Maybe. Can't remember if we finished that one. It's really good.
I'm really enjoying it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm halfway through, but I never mind spoilers.
Okay. All right. So I really enjoy the premise of this. Like, there's actually, which I think you find this out in the 9th episode. There is a time loop to why he has his powers. Because in the first episode, Doctor Strange comes in fighting something that looks like Venom.
Venom! Sorry.
Yes, definitely a symbiote. Looks like a Venom symbiote, but definitely not the Venom symbiote that we're used to.
The
Okay.
Watcher's in there, too.
The Watcher does show up at the very end of an episode.
Very good. It's
Yeah.
well placed.
Yeah, he doesn't actually have any speaking lines. He's just kind of there in the background,
Little
Kind of
Easter egg.
watching. Yes. But yeah, it's funny because he comes in and he's like, Doctor Strange's like, I'm not supposed to be here, and then continues fighting. Which, when you get to the point in the show where that loops around, it's like, oh, now I see why he's not supposed to be there. Let's see here. But over the course of the show, I'm really enjoying it. It's, as you said, it's showing a very unpolished Peter. First episode, he doesn't have his powers yet. It's during that fight, or just after that fight, that Doctor Strange comes in that he actually gets his abilities.
So it's not the traditional
It's not
spider in a lab thing.
Exactly. Yes. And I actually watched a behind the scenes with the director, and he was talking about that. He's like, apparently they went through a whole big meeting of, all right, so how do we want to have him get his powers? Do we want to already have them? They're like, no, we can, have him, just him at first. It's like, okay, well, how do we have him get his powers? Because we want to do this fairly quickly. No, everybody does the whole going to a science fair thing. Ooh, what if it's in a fight? What if Doctor Strange shows up? And they just went from there. It's like, so what's Doctor Strange doing? He's in a fight. Fight with who? Venom. Why would he be in a fight? You know what? We'll figure it out later.
It does have a very what if kind of feel, and which was another good one.
Yes. So this is the sort of thing that I would have enjoyed what if actually being.
I feel like maybe it was too good for that. There was too much depth where they could go with it for one episode of what if.
Well, no, what I'm saying is I would have really liked it if, like, what if instead of doing a different thing each episode, did everything each season, like
I
a
could see
season
that.
of something.
But I think the whole point of why they made it was to like literally make it more expository and fun, like just jumping around from topic to topic. But
Right.
yeah, I get it.
And I would have been great with that, but at the same time, they still looped it all in at the end of What If, like, hey, all of these things are connected because of The Watch. Like the first season, that was great. Even with the missing episode, it was still great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like how this one feels like they're doing a great job with like the retro throwbacks of
Yes.
everything, even like up to the theme song, just the aesthetics of it all. It's really woven together nicely.
I agree 100%. So, Toy, you said you've watched some of it. What are your thoughts?
I appreciate that they showed the origin without making it an origin story, because he gets the bite and then it skips forward to him already having a costume.
Like 3 months later, yeah.
Yeah, I appreciated that skip. I appreciated that they're showing him in the first episode, reminding us he's got super strength. It's not just this webs that he's built. He's got super strength. And then, like, when he punched Butane, he's like, oh, oops, I
Punched it too hard.
don't know my own strength, because I think that's a thing in the comics, isn't it? That he moderates how hard he punches people.
Oh yeah, that's one thing. There's a storyline in the comics called Superior Spider-Man, where Dr. Ock takes over his body and does a punch and basically like knocks a villain's jaw off. And he's like, "What the hell? Wait, have you been holding back?" Like he's thinking this to himself, like, has he been holding back every time? He's had this strength and he's holding back? What the fuck?
See, and I think that's what I'm appreciating about this, because I haven't read a lot of comics, but I've read a lot of articles about comics.
Okay.
And so I have an idea of, Spider-Man in the comic books he's doing lower level crimes and he's supporting people within the neighborhood because this is his neighborhood.
Yes.
And I love that this is showing a lot more of the focus on his neighborhood, focus on helping people, being careful with how hard he punches criminals because he still cares.
Right.
I mean, up to and including the title of the series, it's really kind of bringing that theme
Yes.
forefront.
John, you were staring at us like you have no thoughts.
Well, I'm appreciating hearing what the show is about and like. I just haven't a lot to say about it, having not watched it.
So what we're hearing is you're definitely going to watch it.
Probably eventually.
Is that going to be between all of the other things that you're watching?
Perhaps. I've kind of been not doing a whole lot of watching of new stuff lately. I've been going back with my girlfriend and watching some old favorites. And so
What are your old favorites?
That's fun.
right now we're going through MacGyver, the original 80s MacGyver.
Really?
Yep.
Aw, I love that for you.
We just finished the second season and we're about to start the third.
So I remember watching MacGyver when I was a kid, and it was on USA, like reruns at that point.
Right.
And I remember the little not interstitials, but the little stingers. They would have like, "Hey MacGyver, what are you going to do with that?" And just like show 3 random things.
Yeah, I didn't have USA growing up. It wasn't one of the channels that our cable thing had, but I've seen a couple of them on YouTube since then. I'm like, well, that would have been a cool way to introduce the show.
Yeah. It's like, what you going to do with that, MacGyver? It's like, hey, we have chewing gum, a piece of foil, and a pencil. We now have a nuclear bomb.
Yeah. It was very much the talk of the schoolyard.
The top of the schoolyard.
Yeah, what's MacGyver going to make out of these random things we fucking found?
Yeah, no, my schoolyard was sadly talking about Jerry Springer.
I mean, it was entertaining.
Anyway, let's see, where were we at? So, my thought is, if you haven't seen Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, definitely watch it. I 100% endorse this show. Of course, everybody knows I'm a Spider-Man fan, so I endorse everything. Most things with Spider-Man. I can't say everything. Most things.
Are you a Spider-Man man?
I am a Spider-Man man. Let's see here. So, something that I am not specifically a fan of because I think it's gone too far off the rails, Jurassic World. So, the trailer, I've seen the trailer for Jurassic World Rebirth. My main question after seeing that trailer, actually 2 questions. Question 1, why do they keep going back to this fucking island? And question 2, why do they have a child with them? Why?
I'm going to be very interested to hear the justification this time when they're apparently going on a super secret, super dangerous mission to a place that nobody ever wants to go to, but there's a child on a boat.
So, John, any thoughts on Jurassic World Rebirth?
I'm really hoping that they're keeping some stuff close to the vest that will make it look better than the trailers, which is not normally how things work, which is very concerning. I love Jurassic Park. I love the original. I read the book before the movie even came out.
I never read the book.
Same.
I never read the book, but the original movie, loved it.
Right.
The book's so fucking
the
good.
book is amazing.
It's so good. It was the first novel I read like that. My grandma used to read all the John Grisham books and stuff like that, like on the toilet. That was like her thing. And she would let me come crawl into bed with her with like a bowl of Chex or some shit like that. And she just handed me Jurassic Park. And I was like 12. That was the first time I ever read like a book that thick. It was so good.
Yeah.
So good.
About the same age I read it. I think it was 8th grade, so maybe a little bit older.
Yeah.
A friend of mine had brought it into class, and I'd seen like some newspaper articles that Steven Spielberg was making a movie about this and was trying to make like full-size animatronics for it. This was before they hit upon the idea of doing CGI for a lot of the work for it.
Yeah.
But my friend came into class a little bit late holding the hardcover copy of it, and I'm like, look, friend's name.
Friend's name?
Friend's name has Jurassic Park. And my teacher just looks at me and goes, friend's name got dressed in the park?
Dressed in the park, yes.
So we talked about it, and then it wound up being his Christmas present to me that year was a paperback copy that I then read over New Year's on the floor of his bedroom as a sleepover because we were doing New Year's as 8th graders.
Yes, that's what you do at a sleepover. Read books.
I was the cool kid.
That's the fun part.
Yes.
And it was amazing. It was exactly what a dinosaur obsessed preteen needed to be reading at that point.
My grandma got me the paperback, and she had the hardcover, and I just felt like so important.
Don't worry, we're gonna swoop back around to your dinosaur needs.
Well,
all right. So where were we at? You were talking about
Jurassic World.
Reading the book.
Yes, you were saying how you went to a sleepover and you read a book and you loved it, and your love of dinosaurs. Oh yeah, that's right. And we're gonna swoop back around to that later. But okay, I'm probably not gonna go see it in the theaters. I don't think I'm going to go see Jurassic World Rebirth.
Is Jeff in it?
I don't know, but I don't remember seeing him in any of the trailers. But it may be one of those things where they're hiding him for the big reveal.
That would be dumb marketing wise.
No, well, yes, but no.
Like they should at least hint at it.
No, because here's my thing. I saw Brave New World last month, and they did a terrible thing with the marketing. For those that don't know, Captain America: Brave New World. They put Red Hulk in the initial trailers, but the way the movie progresses, it's like, oh, this is a hidden thing that nobody's supposed to know about until it gets revealed. But guess what? Everybody already knows that it's coming. At that point, it's like, you should have just done Red Hulk at the beginning and made that your main antagonist.
That's a fair point, but we need Goldblum Daddy.
I'm sure all the ladies love him.
Agree. How about you, Toy? Gasps in Espanol.
No, like I appreciate him. I'll look up the photo of him in the open button shirt. I'll look at that picture a lot. And I love listening to stories about like him, the actor, interacting with people. But beyond that, I'm like, he's okay.
That makes me have a sad.
Made you have a sad?
Yeah, that makes me has a sad.
That sounds sad.
Yeah.
Why are you making her sad?
Yeah.
Well, hold up a second here.
You didn't know that you were making her sad?
I've been taught by my top to be fully honest with people, and I'm working on that. So
No, you should definitely be honest with people. Well done. Very proud of you for that.
thank you.
Yes. So, like I said before, my general observation and thoughts on the movie are: why do you have a child? Why are you going back? If I see it on TV, I'll probably watch it then, but I'm not going out of my way to see this movie at this point.
Gonna need a bigger boat.
I may still see it, even though I am not terribly thrilled with the direction the trailers seem to be going. But
I'll wait for you to let me know if it's any good.
we'll do so.
All right. Anybody else planning to go see it?
Nope.
No, but I don't go out to the movies in general. So
Yeah, they're full of people.
Yeah. Although you know what, the one of the theaters in town has like love seat style seating.
Okay.
Yeah, like it's not like
It's like two seats together.
Really? Which one?
the AMC theater in California.
How do they keep people from fucking?
I don't think they do.
Oh.
Well,
Oh.
I don't know if you're allowed to bring a blanket in, and then I think people complain, but we could get the group to go, and then nobody would complain.
Well, we gotta find a good movie to go see.
Anything?
Jurassic World.
I said a good.
Now that we're talking
I
about
said
it.
a good movie.
No, no one's watching it.
That's true. A movie we can ignore.
Yes, so we're not wasting our money. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's the plan.
Oh, it's such a good plan.
All right, so let's keep on ahead with some nerdy news. Here's my question: how many of you remember Skype?
Me.
Yep.
Yes.
They really fucking fumbled
They really fucking fumbled.
when the pandemic hit. Like, what
Oh,
the fuck, man?
Yeah.
You were right there. You had one job, Skype.
Well, here's the thing, though, is that Microsoft owned Skype, and they already had Teams, which is where they were putting their effort.
Still, they
Yeah.
could have been a.
But not everybody had Teams. That's the problem. Everybody had Skype already.
They
and
could have
was
been a
used to it.
contender.
Well, not so much. I was just reading about this because it was on. Businesses were already using Zoom and Teams and Meet.
But those are businesses. What were the regular people using?
Regular people were mostly using Skype, but even then it was already falling off because there's so many issues. There's a discussion I read where people had stopped using Skype in favor of Discord.
Oh, yeah, that's true too.
Yeah. They had unnecessary features and they were terrible, lagging with the video. And then there's all the privacy issues with it.
Oh, yeah.
Did you know that Skype would access your password manager on Firefox?
I did not.
What? I did not know that.
Yes, I read the Wikipedia article.
That, yeah, see, that I was not aware of. That is actually pretty frightening.
Well, and I added one of the links to the show notes that talked about how basically it seems like Microsoft adjusted security protocols to allow easier access to the U.S. government for surveillance.
Oh, so that's why they're shutting down Skype, because everybody knows that they're a piece of shit.
Well, it's not just, it's every communication process. I'm missing the word I want. With any of the major companies have backdoors built in so NSA can access the information without warrants.
Yeah, most
I'm
of
not
them do.
surprised by this.
They don't have to, though. They can be bullied in court for it. So it's really just depending on what kind of move they want to make from jump.
Yeah, the CEO from Quest ended up in jail after he refused to build in a backdoor. Not for not building in a backdoor, of course, for other reasons.
Of course. Obviously, he was doing something terrible. Like, I don't know. He looked at the president funny.
Sounds like he deserves a lot of blowjobs.
In prison?
Yeah,
And
and not giving.
I was going to say, like, I don't know if those are the blowjobs he wants.
They should be ones he wants.
Okay.
Inverse operations. He wouldn't build a back door, so he shouldn't have to take it in the back door if he doesn't want to.
That works.
Yeah.
It's okay. You can laugh into the mic, man. It's okay.
Science.
You don't have to silently guffaw in the background.
Trying to keep the audio clear. Then I bump the mic with my earphones.
Not
That
giggling.
checks out.
That's not what we're doing today.
Here's the thing. We are 9 seasons in. If they don't know that this shit is off the rails already there, they need to start over. Look, this is you've heard our early stuff. You've been on our early stuff. You know how far we've come since then.
What about coming?
Obviously we come far every time.
How far exactly? In standard measurement.
So you're across the room right now, so just a little bit past that.
Well, I don't think you've had anybody contributing to the podcast from the bathroom recently, so that's a step forward, I think.
Please explain.
Oh, it's one of the early episodes, like first 6 episodes. Somebody kept getting up to go pee.
Yes.
And was shouting from the bathroom to contribute to the podcast.
Takes headset off.
Yes.
Walks to bathroom.
It starts yelling.
Yes.
God, I forgot about that.
Rightly so.
Hey, you guys!
That was back at the old location. Right?
Yeah, that was back at old HQ. Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, for somewhere in the first 6 episodes.
I think I remember exactly who that was too. Poor guy. Hey, listen, if you want to know who that was, you should go back to the first 6 episodes and take a listen.
It was MacGyver.
It was MacGyver. What you gonna do, that MacGyver? I'm gonna yell from the bathroom.
Yeah, there were some paper clips in there. He really needed them.
Nope.
Scotch tape.
Nope. Don't even want to imagine what was going on there.
I can make this worse. I'll shut up now.
Why would you do that? Keep talking.
I'll see myself out now
As long as I get to watch.
from the bathroom.
You're gonna see yourself
Not
out.
in the bathroom. No, never mind. Never mind.
Not in the bathroom.
No,
No.
thank you.
But in front of the mirror in the bathroom, I would watch you there, yes.
That was fun. Don't, but it was fun.
Oh my! What did you two do?
We didn't do anything. I just have fond memories of that mirror.
As me and John look at each other, wondering, what we missed out on?
Yeah.
Would you like me to show you where the paper clips are?
We get out my Swiss Army knife and the duct tape.
Toy, are you okay over there?
Perk.
I'm fine.
You're looking a bit flushed.
Toy.
What?
Toy. He should duct tape us together.
Listeners,
I knew this was going to happen.
I think
I
we
knew
were
it.
talking about Skype.
I saw the guest list and I was like, oh no.
I was very happy about it.
I was delighted it was going to be you. For my first time, I wanted it to be you.
Oh my.
I'll be so gentle.
No, that's not
I
necessary.
wasn't gonna. Satan, get
You broke
behind
the
me.
host.
This is great. This is amazing.
Such a deep conversation.
Well, that's what she enjoys, her deep things.
Probing questions.
But we always have to make sure that we're looking directly at her, because if we don't, she doesn't hear us.
This is true. It is very important to look directly at Toy at all times.
Oh, you got some bass in your fucking voice
Yeah,
for
we
that.
have to make sure we watch.
He does.
I
He
really
does
enjoyed
that.
that.
We have to always watch the toy. We have to make sure the toy is doing exactly as she should. Toy.
Yes, sir.
Toy. We have to make sure you have eye contact when you're speaking to people. Remember that.
Yes, sir.
Good girl. And listeners, you are more than welcome to record that, clip that section and play it back as much as you want to.
Duct tape us together, and then people should compliment you, and you have to listen to it. And I'm just there.
I'm
You're there to feel me squirming.
I think
against
you underestimate how many people would ignore you when they would much rather tell you that you're a good girl, pariah.
Hey, John.
Yes,
I'm wondering why she's thinking that nobody's going to say that they're both good girls. Both very good.
Very
girls.
good.
Oh God.
Very, very, very good girls.
No, this isn't fair to have you two doing that and her reacting, and it's all right in my ears.
I'm sorry. Hey, John, we need to. Toy is having a moment right now. We need to let Toy have her moment. Let's tell Pariah how good of a girl she is.
That
Oh.
seems like a great idea, Captain.
I agree. Because Pariah, I've known you for so long. And the entire time I've known you, you've been such a good girl.
So very, very good.
So very, very good.
Thank you so much.
And this episode becomes the most listened to episode ever. Did you just have a moment?
I think I did.
Oh. Where are we at? Where are we at in the notes? I don't even remember now. We were talking about Skype. That's right. Skype. I think we're done with Skype. Just like Microsoft.
Just like Microsoft.
Oh, man, I remember those Skype calls like, wow, I'm talking to somebody from who knows where. And actually seeing them. You know?
Yeah. It was really useful to keep in touch with a friend who had gone to Hungary for school. And
They went to school to get some food?
yeah.
Yes, I know Hungary, the country. All right. Let's see here. What we got? Actually, before we get into the next section of things, we asked a question for our listeners to say, hey, I said something about Hen John actually showing up for the podcast for this one. And we got quite a few responses to that.
And we'll all leave them for the next time about the episode, right?
No.
I don't think she wants to wait.
I want it now. Please. Pretty please.
Do you hear how much she wants you, John?
Please.
Oh, proceed, Captain.
Yay.
She really, really wants it from you. All right, so let's see here. The original post, the first question comes from Rob.
Original post? There's multiples?
There are two status posts, yes.
What have you done? All right.
Yes. In the original post, the first question, which came from listener Rob, also former guest on the podcast, guest host, I should say. John, what is your favorite dinosaur and why?
My favorite dinosaur is Deinonychus.
What the fuck?
So the velociraptors you see in Jurassic Park
Yeah.
were in the book. They were going off of a briefly considered hypothesis that Deinonychus and Velociraptor were the same genus. Mostly because Crichton liked the sound of Velociraptor better than Deinonychus. And the use of raptor played into some of the themes he wanted to do about birds of prey and the relationship between birds and dinosaurs.
Okay.
But that's like the traditional raptor you see in movies is actually Deinonychus.
Okay.
And later on, they found even bigger raptors, Utah raptor, that kind of justified what Spielberg did by making them as big as they were. Because velociraptors, like...
They're like chickens.
Large chickens, turkey-sized.
Yeah.
And Deinonychus is the kind of raptor that could, if it stood up tall, would look you in the eye. And, But the ones in the movie are small enough to get through doors and be a hazard, but big enough to be
A problem.
Don't get me wrong, the claws on a Deinonychus would still be a problem no matter how... Like, even a velociraptor turkey-sized, a couple of them, if they wanted me not to be around anymore, would probably succeed.
They would open all your doors.
Yes. But
Clever
the reason it's my
girl.
favorite is it's got all of those sort of traits of that we associate with raptors that we love, of them being sort of more showing evidence of having a bigger brain capacity and more intelligence than other dinosaurs. Evidence of certain social behaviors that there's since been question as to whether or not that evidence bears out for what we think it is, but it's still kind of exciting to think about that these things work together to bring down prey like wolves today. Just the whole big old claw on its toe is cool.
Big old.
I mean,
It is fucking cool.
let's get right down to it. When you talk about what animal is coolest, you're not going for like,
Brain size.
well, sometimes you are because brain size is cool, but like,
I
but like,
agree.
so is a cool claw that
Yeah, man.
does
Yeah, man.
clawy things.
Toe claw.
So yeah, they've been my favorite for a long time.
I love your choice.
Okay.
What's your third favorite?
Third favorite? Well, we would probably then be skipping over Coelophysis and going to Allosaurus, which is
I love me some Allosauri. Let's go.
It's again one of the theropods. When I was a kid, my favorite dinosaur, of course, was Tyrannosaurus, but the two little useless arms just were kind of a disappointment. And then it's like Allosaurus comes along, and yeah, it's a bit smaller, but it's got functioning forelimbs that can fuck a critter up. And so that became my favorite for a long time. And then Coelophysis was cool. It was about man size, but still
That's the kind that's
predator.
an antibiotic, right?
I don't think
I'm
that's
kidding.
quite
I
it.
know what it is.
You know, ask your doctor if Coelophysis is right for you.
Cephaloxosaurus.
God. All right.
You're so smart.
Hey,
I won't go
John,
that far.
we had a strange question asking what kind of sexy insect you would be.
That
I've-
was me.
I've heard this question before, and all I can say is next, please. I don't find any insects particularly sexy. Some are cool, some are interesting, but I'm really into mammals, particularly bipedal
Humanoid?
mammals.
Featherless bipeds.
Yes, but not plucked chickens. Thank you, Diogenes.
Okay. Let's see here. We had a question from Gen Z Forever. How many Star Wars movies are there, and what order should they be watched?
Ooh,
Okay, so you've
takes
got
notes.
original trilogy, prequel trilogy, sequel trilogy. Sequel trilogy says 9, plus Rogue One, Solo, the Clone Wars theatrical movie. So what are we at? 12?
Wait, I thought Clone Wars was in the. No, that's Attack of the Clones.
Attack of the Clones is in right,
Yeah.
but the Clone Wars TV series was debuted as a theatrical film that merged elements of like the first 4 episodes and was shown in theaters.
I did not know that.
So, in what order should they be seen? That's really a personal call.
Wait. You're missing an important movie there.
I probably am. Let me.
The Christmas special, obviously.
Yeah.
I think I just broke them already.
Okay, John, for somebody.
I'm counting theatrical movies. If we want to expand to things that are only shown on TV, that adds a couple things.
No.
Yes?
Okay, John. So, for somebody who is going to watch, who's never seen Star Wars before and is watching it for the first time, what order should they watch it in?
I thought you just made a really horrible confession right now.
I
and then
would
realized-
go
No,
with
it's okay.
episodes. So, Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. Star Wars Episode 5, Empire Strikes Back. Then I think I would go back to the prequels and do 1, 2, 3, and then cap it off with Episode 6.
That's hot.
And then from there, sequels and other movies.
Isn't that a machete order or something like that?
Machete order is that but chops out Episode 1 entirely.
Oh.
Whoever came up with the machete order originally felt that it didn't add much to the overall story. I disagree with that interpretation. I think Episode 1, for all its flaws, adds a lot to what the story Lucas was trying to tell overall with Anakin's path through life, as
Okay.
well as Obi-Wan's growth, and just the state of the galaxy and how it got in the bad state it was in the original trilogy.
Okay.
Fair.
Plus, it had pod racing, so.
Yeah, that's one of... I love what he tried to do with pod racing, but I think he forgot that putting a pod race pace to match the original Ben-Hur wasn't going to work in a modern movie. It should have been shorter and a bit tighter edited.
Okay. I was gonna say also, if you cut out Episode 1, you cut out an amazing song from Weird Al.
That is true. You would not get The Saga Begins without Episode 1.
Yeah.
Very true.
I forget who I was talking to recently, and they were telling me that Weird Al like got an early viewing of the movie to be able to get the song out.
He had already done almost all of the writing for it,
Mm-hmm.
but he wanted to make sure that there weren't any obvious glaring errors because he was going off of like internet leaks and what have you.
Oh.
So he got paid a lot of money to go to a special charity showing that was early and basically take notes and make sure that what he had gathered from the internet was correct, and then he only had to make like one small change to the lyrics.
Oh.
Based on actually watching the final cut versus what he had been able to learn online.
Nice.
Yay for the internet.
I've had a massive crush on Weird Al like most of my life.
Yes.
And rightly so.
Yeah,
I'm like,
weirdly also, what was it, dude with the, why am I blanking on his name, classical music player, looks a little like Weird Al.
Classical.
Yanni?
Yeah. I had a weird unknown feeling about that person when I first saw them when I was younger.
Okay, so there's a type of some sort. I'm not sure what that type is, but some sort.
But that's actually not, anyway, I'll think about it.
All right, so the official order that you're proposing is 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 6.
Right, and then I admit I haven't given a whole lot of thought as to how to go about the movies that have come out more recently since the Disney purchase.
Wait, hold on. I would for what's out right now, I would think 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. Oh fuck! What's the name of the movie? The super popular one where they actually show where they got the plans.
Rogue One?
Rogue One, and then
I thought about whether Rogue One should go before Episode 4 since it leads directly into it. But if you're showing someone the franchise for the first time, you probably don't want to start with them, spoilers, meeting a whole bunch of protagonists and then killing them all off.
I mean, you'll know that you don't have to worry about them later down the line.
I think coming back to that as a background element is fine and appropriate.
Well, no,
once they've seen the movies that made everyone love Star Wars.
Right. Well, the only thing I would think though is with Rogue One, it literally ends leading into Episode 4 too.
It does.
Yeah. So that would be the only reason to have that start off with that kind of.
Right.
Yeah, just not for a first timer. I would do 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 6, and then the standalones, and then the sequel.
I think that's
trilogy.
probably a good way to go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So that way you get a little bit of backstory on what happened with everything.
Right.
Yeah. That way you know why Han has his ship and all that. Which I have yet to watch Solo. I heard nothing good about it. So
Then you weren't hearing the right things.
I liked it.
Solo had a lot of flaws. I understand why it wasn't as big as it could have been.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it got overlooked because of so much unrelated things to the quality of the movie were going on around it.
Oh, really?
There was, first of all, the whole thing of it being scheduled when it was. It was coming right after one of the tentpole sequel trilogy movies.
Okay.
Like
So
only
7, 8, 9. Yeah.
like only 5 months after 8, I think it was.
Okay.
And
then
so
8 was
8.
8 had a really cool scene.
I have a lot of mixed feelings about 8,
Yeah.
but regardless, people in general had some very strong feelings about it, and so a lot of people weren't sure where their feelings about Star Wars in general stood
After that.
when Solo was coming out.
Gotcha.
Solo was also coming out right around the time that Endgame was coming out.
Oh, yeah.
Disney ran it up against its own the biggest movie its Marvel series was ever going to have.
Right.
And so there was a whole lot of like out of things that had nothing to do with the movie itself that hurt it. And then you're recasting some iconic characters, which you would kind of have to do for the movie that they were trying to do. And I feel there was no way to win on that front. I don't think the actor they chose for Han was a terrible choice, but I never looked at the movie and felt this is the Harrison Ford Han Solo that I grew up knowing.
Wasn't one of the Chris's that did it? Chris?
No, it was Alden Ehrenreich. I've never been able to pronounce his last name correctly.
For some reason, I was thinking Chris Pine, but no, he's with Star Trek. Never mind.
Yeah, that was Captain Kirk.
Yes. Okay, so yeah. Let's see. What? Why? There's a thief.
Hi.
Hi, thief.
Hi.
Disney sucks. Warner Brothers for life.
I don't think he cares that much, the audience. Did you have something else, Steve? No. Okay. Let's see. What other questions? We should have curated these before we started asking them. Let's see. From Hoops, when do dinosaurs like mixing sex and BDSM, like Triceratops, Tyrannosaurus sex,
Velociraptor.
Velociraptor? That's scary.
Triceralumps.
She recently read that King Kong originated as a racist concept. Godzilla is a vast assortment of a lot of movies over the course of a long time. Casting of Asian people is sometimes quite racist. Do you, John, have any knowledge or interest in knowing any of that? Do you know about any of the racist context between...
Yeah, Marion C. Cooper's take on King Kong, like the natives in that movie are straight up colonialist stereotypes of native peoples from colonies around the world. It's definitely not a good look in retrospect. They definitely have some issues there. Godzilla doesn't suffer as much from that. The natives of Odo Island are probably have some...
I'm sorry, the natives of what?
Odo Island is the island that Godzilla originally appears on in the 1954 film.
Okay. Is that the movie that they... I'm sorry, the movie. Is that the island they went to in -1?
Yes.
Okay.
They reused the name of that island. It's pretty much a fictional island.
Right. I figured that, but I just didn't know if hey, this is an homage to that original one or if this is just some other one.
Yeah, it was an homage to that. In that context, I'm not deeply enmeshed enough in 1950s Japanese culture to know how much of that is some sort of stereotyping of the island populations of some of their outlying islands.
Okay.
But it doesn't suffer from the same thing because it wasn't from that same sort of colonial perspective. And you do see some of that in later movies. Like Mothra structurally has a lot in common with King Kong and the original 1960 Mothra movie.
The movie. I thought you were saying Mothra, the creature. I'm like, Mothra and King Kong are nothing alike.
The reason Mothra's a creature is because Mothra was its own movie before it got merged into the Godzilla universe.
Okay.
And in that movie, they go to a South Seas island where there are natives. And...
Are you okay over there, Pariah?
I'm gonna fuck with Toy.
Oh no.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Please continue on with your fucking of Toy. I'm sorry, fucking with Toy.
I want you to listen to John.
Yes, we should all listen to John.
He's so deliciously smart.
Well, John should definitely stare at Toy and tell her all about...
No, educate us.
Educate us, yes.
I don't even remember where I was at this point.
We were talking about dinosaurs.
No, we were talking about Godzilla and Odo Island and all the racist things around.
I knew that.
Why Mothra and Godzilla were the same same movie, not same creature.
Well, Mothra and King Kong.
King Kong, yes.
I won't say they're the same movie, but they have a lot of similar structural beats. And the going to the South Seas Island where there are caricatures of native populations happens there. And you wind up with a lot of, the same sort of stereotyped approach to natives that you would see in American movies like King Kong. Later in King Kong versus Godzilla, which when Toho got the rights to use King Kong briefly, again, they have a island that
I thought Toho had Godzilla. I'm not well versed in who owns what.
I said King Kong, right?
Yeah,
you
did.
King
You
Kong.
did.
Yeah. King Kong.
I thought Toho...
You said Native Americans and populations in King Kong.
I thought Toho owned King Kong for some reason. I thought that was all part of that same universe.
King Kong was licensed by Toho. Well, was licensed by John Beck, and then the license was Toho allowed to use it to create a movie with King Kong.
Okay, gotcha.
Which eventually became King Kong versus Godzilla, and then they did another movie later called King Kong Escapes.
Okay, so they were separate studios that were doing these then.
Yeah, the original King Kong was done by RCA Pictures in the United States.
Okay.
Godzilla was done by Toho Pictures in Japan.
Okay, and then they not
And
combined,
then
but they
brought over under a licensing agreement King Kong for use, and it wound up being a movie that brought Godzilla back after he'd been out of theaters for several years.
Okay.
And they had King Kong on an island with islanders, and again, you have a large number of Japanese actors in brownface basically doing stereotypical islander things.
Did not expect that. I don't know why I didn't, but
You didn't expect racism from Japan?
Yeah, I was literally about to say the same thing.
I didn't expect the brown face. Is what I was going for.
So yeah, there's definitely a lot of racist tropes in all film from that era.
Yeah, that's true.
I think the original Godzilla is important though because it shows how people who have been exposed to
Radiation.
Yeah, Godzilla is basically a walking atomic bomb that shows the impact of that on the world.
Right.
And while Japan was a colonial empire, it was also at the same time occupied by the United States. And so Godzilla was a way for them to talk about the experience of experiencing the nuclear bomb at a time when the United States explicitly forbid them from making propaganda film, what the United States regarded as propaganda films about the war. So,
John, you are so fucking knowledgeable.
I know
It's
a thing or
really
two
hot.
about a thing or two, but
It's really hot.
so
He is Johnzilla and Jonopedia for a reason.
Actually, I know you're going to hate me for this. I haven't watched Godzilla, and I would.
Any Godzilla?
Nope, I'd do it for you, though.
Aw.
You would have to sit there, though, in Mystery Science Theater 3000 it for me.
I think he'd be okay with that.
I would love that.
That
I think
would
a
be
lot
fun.
of people would really enjoy that, genuinely.
So what I'm hearing is we should do a
Next
movie night.
We should.
We should do a movie night specifically for that.
Please?
Let's see here. We got
we'll have to talk about that.
well,
Okay.
all right. Well, we have one for April already, but we don't have one for May yet. And there's something else in May, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, maybe a busy month for this May birthday boy. So,
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. All right.
I'll make you a lizard. A really, really tall one.
Okay. Let's move on to the next one here. So from Corinne, who is the real underdog in the dinosaur world, and why should we love them?
how do you describe an underdog? Go ahead. You have a thought, Toy?
I was going to say that, honestly, I think your discussions about velociraptors versus your favorite dinosaur, whose name I already forget, I think that kind of explains why that's the underdog, because they've been replaced in media with an inaccurate velociraptor.
I am okay with that.
All right.
Yeah, in that respect, I think you're right. But I think also if you're looking for like dinosaurs that would have had to avoid other dinosaurs, I'm going to go with Fabrosaurus. It's an
I'm sorry. Fabulosaurus? Is that what-
Fabrosaurus.
Fabulous.
This is where Fabuloso came from.
It was a small early herbivore.
For those of us in America that don't have education, what's an herbivore?
Plant eater.
Ah.
It's a small herbivore from early on. I want to say it was an early Jurassic, possibly late Triassic. I'm kind of forgetting exactly where it falls, but it's in that early stage. And it was just a little guy, small and
I'm sorry, say that again.
not armored.
No, say that again, please.
Just a little guy,
Okay, thank you for that.
Pronounce it again.
Fabrosaurus.
Thank you.
Fabrosaurus.
See, and you guys went to fabulous. I'm like, Fabrosaurus, like fabricated, like he's just making this shit up right now.
No, it's really cool. Oh, I like it.
Listeners, you can't see this, but Pariah has just looked it up.
It has really elegant, dainty little legs for its body. And I love that its tail is so elongated because you can picture it being such a mechanism of balance for it. And it's probably quite agile. I like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. There we go.
All right, let's see here. And let's see here. From Cheesy Bunny. If you had to be either a Triceratops or a Brontosaurus, which would you choose?
I would go with, of those two, Triceratops.
Why is that?
One, because I just kind of like the armored head look of it a bit more.
Okay.
And also, neither of them were like mental giants, but I seem to recall the encephalization quotient for Triceratops being a fair bit bigger than the sauropods.
I'm sorry, the what of the what of the what?
I don't know, but I liked it.
Encephalization quotient is a measure of brain mass to body mass that is roughly correlated with an animal's intelligence.
Okay.
When all you have to go with is fossils, it's the best thing we have to judge
How smart they were.
how smart a given dinosaur was.
Okay.
And like I said,
So you want the big brain.
just like on modern Earth, things that eat things that don't run away from them tend not to be the brightest creatures. Although the great apes are vegetarians and are among the most intelligent animals. So, but yeah, I'll go with the Triceratops on that one.
They will
Triceratops.
also tear a face off, though.
Also, in a follow-up to that, if Star Trek comes up, what is your favorite episode of The Next Generation with Q?
With Q.
Yes.
Okay, I just have to narrow a few. I'm going to go with Q Who, which is the episode where Q introduces the crew to the Borg.
I love that episode.
The Next Generation crew is in a conversation.
Yeah. No, I know the
With Q.
episode, but yes, please.
They wind up being a bit cocky, and Q's like, "Oh really? Oh really, bitches?
Yeah.
Try this on for size," and flings the Enterprise
So
into the
far.
face of a Borg cube.
Yeah.
And in the end, Picard is basically forced to apologize to Q and have Q save them. And it was really sort of a...
Also, that was a big fuck you to the rest of the universe, well, the rest of the Star Trek universe, because, oh, hey, there's the Borg.
Totally topping from the bottom.
But we already have seen in like episodes like the Neutral Zone that the outright abduction of outposts was already occurring. So in a way, Q may have given us an advance warning to a threat that was much closer than the Federation ever knew at the time.
Given us an advance warning, he
Sorry.
says.
Yes. Yes.
You know what? I support that. Star Trek future is my hope and dream.
We would love to have a Star Trek future. If we can do it without the Borg, I'd be great with that too. But then if we do it without the Borg, we don't get 7 of 9, and I don't know how I feel about that. No words?
I
No.
just don't want a red shirt.
No, I already know. I'm 100% redshirting it.
See, I my favorite Q episode is in DS9 because I just like watching Cisco punch him in the face.
There is definitely something to be said for that.
Although they did lean a little bit too hard in the whole Cisco's not Picard storyline there, but watching him get punched in the face is satisfying.
I can see that. I'm trying to think of the Q episodes I like. And the only one that keeps coming to my mind is I think there's one where like Q got kicked out of the continuum.
Well, that was another good one, yeah.
And at the end, it's like, Q, and they're just talking to each other. It's like, well, I guess we can let you back in for now. Oh, God. I'm not a nerd. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't have this podcast for a reason. Wait a second. Damn it. Anyway, there was one last one. Who is your favorite character from Voyager?
Tuvix. Oh, wait, sorry, that's not my question.
What about two dicks?
I wonder if he did.
Two dicks merged into one.
Double your pleasure.
I'd have to go with the Doctor.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Doctor is, yeah. It's fun because I remember early on, Doctor is just like so confused about why are you doing this to everybody.
Yeah, no, they did a really good job with his character, taking him from a smart appliance into
An actual
character with
depth.
depth and aspirations to music and all of that.
Yeah, and I remember an episode of Voyager where I guess the he was never supposed to be on as long as he was.
Right.
And I think what was like he was not dying, but they were like they had to like expand his memory or else he was going to just reset.
Right.
Yeah. You know what's funny? I don't remember most of the episode, but I still remember the feeling. Oh man, that's really fucked up. Yeah, that's a hallmark of a good episode at least.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you made me care about this really care about this character and what they're going through. Let's see here. Do we have any other questions?
Wait,
we did.
Can I just clarify to listeners? Tuvix is not actually my favorite character. That was a joke. Just so we're clear. Okay, continue.
just so we're clear. You don't want the hate coming from the Tuvix for the Tuvix continuum. Okay, not. All right. So we have 3 more questions. They all come from Thief of Dreams.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Do you have any fantasies that embarrass you?
Yes. Next.
No.
No?
I wanted to hear.
You heard. He said yes.
No. He didn't explain.
The question that I asked for him to expand on it.
Gets unfed.
You know you're right here. You can just ask.
Would you please extrapolate on this data?
As John is being, now the tables turn. John's being stared at.
I stare at him a lot. I just do it when he's not looking.
Like he's staring at you now?
Yeah, I can't look at him now.
Now, why wouldn't you look at him?
Yes. Why don't you look this way?
Toy, why?
I opened myself up to that one, didn't I?
Absolutely.
It's okay, Toy. We love when you open yourself up to us. Yes.
Hole.
Yes, be wide open with us.
With holes wide open.
Still a better song than Creed.
Another weird crush I have.
So it's all about the men with the long hair.
Mm-hmm.
Not it.
Let's see here.
Kenny G.
Have you ever had sex with someone who did not speak your native language?
I have not. I came close to someone who barely spoke English once, but that didn't wind up happening. So,
barely spoke English?
So how close to her did you come?
Honestly, not sure. I just know I was invited to go with her somewhere, and I was not able to. So,
not able to because you didn't know you were being asked, or just not able to because physically you couldn't?
Because I had injured my toe previously and was suffering from an incredible infection. It was so hard to walk anywhere at that time that I had to turn her down.
So what I'm hearing is your toe fucked you over.
My toe cock blocked me.
That's not nice.
That's terrible.
I'm so sad for you and your toe and penis. Separately.
So, real quick, which toe was it?
My left, I guess, ring toe.
What did you do to your left ring toe?
That's a weird one to injure.
I had previously been in Petra in Jordan in a rainstorm in the
I'm sorry, I didn't realize you were a world traveler like that, sir.
I went on a very long trip in 2011.
So do we need to upgrade you to man about the world?
I don't know that many people, Captain. I know you like to make this narrative, but
that's a really interesting year for you to been traveling the world.
To have been in
Yeah.
Egypt and Jordan, it certainly was.
Yeah.
Part of the reason it was such a long trip was because we had to cancel the Egypt trip originally, and then we added it on at the very end when they allowed Americans to go back.
Sounds like a great story.
It is, but not one in the context of what we have here. But the short version was, in Petra, it rained. I insist on walking with wet shoes and wet socks up hundreds of steps to see the tomb known as the monastery and walk back down those same steps. And apparently I did something to that toe. So by the time we had gotten to the part of the trip where we were in Hungary, my toe wasn't doing so great.
Do you still have the toe?
I do still have the toe, but I
Good
no longer
job.
have the toenail.
It's in a snow globe. It's in a snow globe now. We call it a toe globe.
A toe globe. All right, let's see. We have one more question here. What is the sexiest thing a partner has ever done for you?
That's a very wide ranging question. I've had them wear exciting things. I've had I
What
don't
do
know how
you
to,
consider the sexiest thing, though? What's the thing that pops your mind first?
Might be God, they're really enjoying looking at me right now, aren't they?
We all are, John. We all
See,
are.
I don't have the embarrassment fetish, but it's just embarrassment right now. I'll just go with the luau and
I believe I know which luau you're talking about.
yeah.
Yes. Okay. We'll go with that.
Yeah, we'll just go with that and let listeners wonder what I might be referring to.
I know exactly what you're referring
Oh,
to.
I know. This isn't fucking fair. What the fuck?
You weren't around at that point.
No, I wasn't. I'm brand new.
Everyone tied their penises together and made a giant inner tube.
That is not true at all.
And then there was a cum fountain.
No. All right. So here's what we'll do. After we finish recording, I'll let John tell you all about it.
It might have to be a different day. I think I have to rush once we're done. But
Okay. Yeah, that's because it took so long getting started. All right. Let's move back onto the show notes. So, quick question for everybody. What happens when a community fractures?
it's awkward.
I mean, we've watched it happen a couple times.
Why do you say it's awkward?
Well, the only communities I've been a part of are like my friend groups.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that's just a very small community. And they're just, you split up, and then somebody's still talking to somebody from one side of the split, even though you're on the other. And everybody's just like talking around what happened and what's going on with the other people, because it's like, I don't know if I can talk to you about this person. And you're like, I don't know if I want to hear about that person right now. So it just makes conversations awkward.
Gotcha. I was thinking, when I saw the question, I was thinking honestly more in a community, as in like a kink community, where I've seen that happen a few times now. And the thing is, it says the question is fractured, but it's not always just because
Splintered.
they people moved on doesn't mean it was a fracture. It could be as that, hey, you know what? This wasn't serving what I needed, so I went to find something somewhere else or make something somewhere else. So I think fracture is kind of a bad phrasing in that question, honestly.
Yeah, but sometimes you see it where like actual divisions become deep enough that people don't want to associate with the other side of something, and it winds up being a genuine
issue.
split. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like I said, I've seen it happen in our community at least once. And I know that it happened, I think, before I came out.
We both came in right after a previous fracture had occurred.
Right. So it happens. My thought with that, though, is it happens, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to specifically kill a community. Fractures happen, and you just kind of have to move forward with them, right?
Yeah, I mean,
if there's enough to pull things back.
right.
Like I was actually just down at the AV Munch yesterday, actually.
That would be the Antelope Valley Munch.
Antelope Valley, yeah. And I've been there a few times in the past, and remember their community being, fairly large. And I know small munches happen, but this was like super small. I was like, oh, where is everybody? And apparently one of the people didn't like something dealing with the leadership, and they just kind of left off and took people with them. So it's like, okay, but talk, have conversation. I'm just that person wants everybody to get along, honestly.
Right, but sometimes that's not the right answer. Sometimes someone's done something in a way that it's not appropriate to just try to make people get along with it again.
That's true.
And so that's sometimes why you see a fracture in a community, is because someone has done something inappropriate, some sort of significant consent violation or something. And I think we've all seen cases where, people don't see eye to eye on how that should be handled.
Right.
I think that when I've experienced it and I've seen it, for me, when you talk about looking at it through 20/20 vision, looking back at it, you're going to see some people discussing other people. That person's such a bitch. That person's such an asshole. And you're going to see some people saying, when that person said blank, I felt blank and I didn't like it. And I think that when we have people discussing others and they're focused on what kind of person the other person is, and it becomes a lot of chatter about that, rather than actually focusing on the things that got said or done and processing those things and trying to have actual conversations about them, I think that's where you kind of run into what could be worked through and what can't. It's an attitude problem. It's not my place ever to tell somebody that somebody else is worthless or a bitch or whatever, but I can absolutely speak to my experience and say I felt worthless in relationship to something that got done. I'd be open to having a conversation about it.
Well, I know nothing. You know what? I think I'm going to put this out to the masses and just ask about, experiences. Because, again, I've only seen so much. I'm sure there's a lot more in the world that can be spoken of about this. Maybe open a conversation. Who knows?
It's happened in LA a lot, too. All the scenes go through it. So.
Well, I don't want my scene to go through it. I know nobody wants it to happen, but
Ultimately, the pools become incestuous and personality conflicts are going to happen. But I think you got to figure out a way to actually have those conversations and that discourse.
open, honest communication? What
Yeah.
the fuck is that?
Who knows? Holes.
We don't do we don't do that shit here.
We don't do holes?
Open, honest communication, duh.
Boss, I think that's what you're consistently telling me I have to do, so.
Ooh, mic drop in your face.
Yes.
Please don't do that to the sound equipment.
Here's the thing. What's the phrase I was told many times as a child? Do as I say, not as I do. No, actually, open, honest communication is good. Officially, listeners, I do support open, honest communication. It's an important thing. You can't fix anything. You can't get closer if you aren't open and honest with one another.
True that.
You're here.
Yes. All right. Let's see. Let's move forward. Scene goals. I did not put this one in. Who put this one in?
That was me.
Oh, that was you.
Yes.
All right. So,
Oh, okay, hold up, let me.
do you not have the show notes open?
I did. It's just my phone's dying because I'm an irresponsible adult.
Do you need a charger?
Probably. I'll just. Okay. So this was. Okay. I'm newer to kink. I'm listening to a variety of kinky podcasts. Am I allowed to give a shout out to another podcast on this podcast?
Yeah.
Okay, I've been listening to a ton of Pink Kink. It's two women doing a podcast. They're into very different aspects of kink, but they've got a lot of experience. And so it's refreshing as somebody who's new to this to listen to two women talk about it, because a lot of kinky podcasts are led by men. So
Fine. I'll move away from this podcast. I'll give it to somebody else. Fuck.
that's not what I said. So
Hold your male fragility.
It is. I'm a very fragile male. Didn't you know that?
But I've also been reading, and I saw an article about a guy talking about scene goals, and then I was just wondering, like, I had a few thoughts about it, wrote them all down for the podcast. So, for example, what kind of goals are there for a scene? When you go into a scene, what are your goals?
For me personally, it depends on the type of scene, but in general, it's always, I want everyone to have a good time. I want everyone to enjoy themselves during the scene. I know that that's not always the goal, though, for everybody. Sometimes somebody goes to a scene like, hey, I want that other person to enjoy this while I suffer for their enjoyment. Something like that. But for me, I just want everybody to enjoy the scene, depending upon, obviously, what it is. So, I don't know if that answers your question properly.
For me, scene goals are negotiated from scene to scene. It's when I'm speaking with a new partner, it's what are you hoping to experience in this? And sometimes it's some sort of emotional catharsis. Sometimes it's just I want that feeling of that on my bum. Sometimes it's they're looking more for sort of a bit of a power exchange in the process of it. And so the goal varies from partner to partner and from scene to scene. And that's why it's important to negotiate, even with partners you've had for a while.
That was a far better answer than mine. Thank you. Pariah?
I think that for me, if you're going to put it plainly, power exchange is a big part of it, but really I want the person that I am playing with ultimately to feel like I am, I guess, just their palette. Like they are making something they want from me. That's what I want. I want to be the instruments in an orchestra that person is conducting. That makes me feel really, really good, girl.
Yes, you are.
So I had listed out several sub-questions to go with this. So are there goals for a scene that should be avoided, or is it all about how you approach it? For example, if your goal is to make your bottom safe word, is that ever a good goal to have, or should it always be avoided?
So I don't think I've ever had a scene where I've gone in saying I'm going to make you safe word, but I have, much like you listen to different podcasts and things like that, where they've talked about sometimes, especially if you have someone that is just very vehement about, I'm not going to safe word, I never safe word, I am, the uber bottom submissive, whatever. And sometimes it goes like, okay, well, that's a terrible place to be. Let's make you safe word, and then we'll work from there. Kind of like a military thing. Like, we're going to break you down and then build you back up, sort of thing. Now, that's probably a terrible thing, but that's just what I've heard. Thoughts from?
Well, and other examples I had was like a scene goal that is in some way competitive with other people, or the goal of bruising, which I had just listened, full honesty, to a Pink Kink episode where they talked about why bruising should not be a scene goal.
Because not everybody can?
Because not everybody can, and if that's your goal and you're not getting it, you could push yourself to injury.
Yeah, definitely don't want... What we do is not safe. What we do is fun,
I think,
but not safe.
yeah, I think less that terminology and more I can see it being a goal to be pressing limits. And I would have to really trust somebody, and I would love to be in that kind of dynamic where I feel like that person can read the limits, like on me, just watching me. And we've talked about it previously too. And for them to have the pre-negotiated autonomy to push me and press me to those things. Those kind of frequent check-ins also are helpful for me, even if they become like part of the scene a little bit, which they do for me.
For me, someone saying that they just don't safe word isn't something for me to try to push. It's a red flag for me to back out of the negotiation and wish them well. When I'm looking for a partner, I'm looking for someone who's looking to openly and honestly communicate, as someone said earlier.
Yes.
And if someone can't honestly state that they've reached a limit that they shouldn't go forward beyond, it means either they're being dishonest with me or they're being dishonest with themselves, because we do things that cause damage if it's done to extremes or to excess. And as much as I can monitor their progress from the outside, I will never have the detailed information that one's own body will provide to someone. And so if they're not able to share that with me and help me know when they've hit their limits, they're not a safe person to play with. And then on the question of like bruising, my current play partner just doesn't bruise much. I think everyone at the table here has seen me and play with her. I'm not really holding back on that, but at the end of all that, there's not a whole lot of bruising. And so, while with other people, you sneeze on their jeans and they'll wind up with a bruise. So a scene goal can't be made in a vacuum. If bruising is something that will occur at a certain level, then it can work as a goal. But it has to be understood by both parties through negotiation going in where that limit is and whether that's something appropriate to be a goal.
I was going to say, is there anything I had an accidental bruising, which lasted a good long while, because I went in with the thought of, we're just going to do this. I didn't expect the bruising to occur, but it lasted for like a week. I was like, I did good, I think. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
That's why. Yes, I'm talking about you.
Okay, just making sure that I
Yes.
could chime in here.
Yes, you can.
I mean, this is a testament to how I think open you are for communication after the fact too, because we had a really good talk about that, and I already saw you really highly as a person and a friend, and it raised my opinion of your integrity personally to have that conversation with you, because I went into it wanting what I wanted, but I didn't know that I could handle something that hard, and I did ultimately tap out from that, and that was probably my version of a safe word, because we didn't really negotiate that. I think we both came to the fact that, like, after the fact, I was very happy that the bruises were there.
Yes, I remember.
I don't mark very easily at all.
Right, that's why I didn't even think that it would occur, and then when it did, it's like,
and it was like a full week that it lasted. It was still there, like the next party. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I love that I got the experience. I think that really just coming from it, what it taught me is that the particular venue that we did that at may not have been the best spot, because you were going to need to have more control over my headspace at that time than a more socially kind of aspect would have given. It would have probably been better at a real party, and the lights dimmer, the music louder, like your ability.
A more
to
traditional
control
party.
things.
They're real parties. I just
No.
say a more traditional, not real party.
This was, yes, that's a good way to put that. Not like, I mean, we're name checking the events, correct? That's fine. So
that's fine.
Not like a Spanx or something like that, because I think that the scenes are typically shorter. They're not that intense. Like, that was a really intense energy exchange. Yes. From both of us. Happy accident?
Happy accident.
I enjoyed it. I still, that was, you,
my hand didn't break.
No, and neither did my ass. I think that it was kind of cool, though, because I always tended to call myself somebody with a glass ass that you can't really press too hard with me. And it made me realize that I can, and I really like it.
I'm glad I could help you realize that.
We just should have talked about it beforehand.
Yes.
I also really liked watching that, so
it was intense.
That was the one where I was kind of hiding behind the arm of the couch, just peering over it like a pervy old man.
I'm just imagining it's like.
Well, it's because I was still coming down from my spanking.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and so I'm just like spacing out in like the corner of the couch, and then I hear Pariah, and I'm like,
oh my,
peeking over.
I'll try that around. Oh my.
I did not realize I was like basically climbing the cross.
You were. Yes, you were.
Till someone said it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I think that was pretty close to when I was like, I'm done. I think I'm done. I loved it though, and I loved the interplay here too with the you and your partner kind of like, oh yeah. So
yes.
It was ultimately very, very fun.
Yay. Well, I will call that a win. Yeah. All right, where are we at? Oh, you were doing
I know where
things.
we're at. Yeah, this is me right now. So if a goal for a scene, like I've heard of crying as a goal for a scene.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard of I just want to get spacey. I want to hit subspace. I want to be hit harder or for longer than I have in the past. Pushing your limits.
Yes.
How do you handle that as tops, as bottoms, when you're not going to be able to reach that goal in a scene? if there's a point where you realize this maybe isn't going to happen, maybe the bottom's like, no, actually, I can't do this. Or as the top, you know them well enough, you're watching kind of their headspace, and you're like, I don't think we're going to get where you want to go.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't renegotiate mid-scene, but can you adjust your goals?
Can you adjust the goals? Yes. It's not really a renegotiation at that point. It's like, hey, I want to get to this point. And then if I see a bottom and I'm like, okay, this doesn't look like it's going the way that they want, I will kind of lean in, depending on like if it's at a full on play party, or if it's just like a private scene, something like that. Just kind of lean like, hey, just want to check in. Are you okay? How are you feeling? Let me get how they're feeling in that moment. Get a gauge on their headspace. Because if they say, hey, I really do want to keep going, I'll be like, are you sure? I know what we talked about before, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. If we do this instead, if we may not get there, but if we just, go a little bit longer, maybe see how it goes and then call it. Is that to kind of make a, not flag, wow. Sports. You have to make a,
Call?
Just a change on the play.
An audible.
Audible.
Call
Thank
an
you.
Audible.
Audible.
From the not sports motherfucker.
Thank
the
you.
most not sportsy motherfucker.
Thank you. I
welcome.
I couldn't get the word. Yes.
They say you shouldn't renegotiate during a scene. What you really shouldn't do is negotiate an escalation in a scene. Negotiating down is something that can always happen. Mm-hmm. So sometimes if the goal is beyond reach, it's appropriate to negotiate down to, okay, well, we can't make you cry. Are we still in a place where you're getting some value from this, even though you're not getting to the point where you cry? Should we stop at this point? Should we continue? You shouldn't go beyond what was in the original headspace negotiation, but coming down from that to a lower level is something that is appropriate.
I've had the headspace adjustments that have been discussed mid-scene as well. So, it could be, I always tend to be a little self-conscious about noise level from myself. No one else seems to care.
No one else minds.
However,
everybody else
it
enjoys.
took one time, one person like years ago saying it, and so I'm always in my head. However, point being, it can be, things can be removed from an environment. Things can be altered. There can be blindfolds added. There can be headphones placed on. There can be different types of, like, if my body is failing me, you can renegotiate a new position from a different piece of equipment to something else, if we're all still kind of on track with that. But that's also me personally, and that would be with someone, if I'm playing, it's not a random pickup play kind of thing. It's someone I trust. And with tiers, that's big for me,
and something you negotiated beforehand,
right,
that you can allow this latitude for negotiation, but only beforehand should that be established.
That's a good point. Yeah. I usually bring it up that, are you going to be freaked out if I cry? Because I don't know if I'm going to or not. And it's almost never, actually, I can't think of any time where it's been a bad thing for me. So I don't want someone to be freaked out, though. Like, oh, shit, she's crying. So it should be given pre-scene.
Yeah, I think I put in, Cap and I have a spreadsheet for me to update limits for when we play. And I think in mine, I've got in aftercare, I'm like, I might cry, but it's not a bad thing.
Yes, you do. And high fives on the table.
Sub 5.
Sub 5.
That was the end of my questions. But
that was the end of your questions? Okay. Well, if that's the case, I guess we better move on to the kink/fetish of the episode.
Yes.
All right. Now let's see if I can actually properly pronounce this word. No, but I'll try anyway. Catatronophilia? Catatronophilia? All right. This is a fetish for mirrors. So individuals who experience catatronophilia, I'm trying,
Same.
may participate in more activities such as masturbating, engaging in intercourse, stripping, or carrying out other sexual actions, all in front of mirrors.
I think Miss Jackson, if you're nasty, was into that.
All right. So, how do you like seeing yourself during things? And Pariah is just like immediately, hell no.
No, immediately no.
Well, I've never done anything in front of a mirror before. Like, there's been a couple videos made, and I enjoy that, and I enjoy seeing myself like that. I think I could be into mirrors as in, like, addition to play, you know, leaning into my embarrassment kink. I'm sure there's things that could be said if a mirror were involved.
Or done.
Yeah. And I think even just during regular, more vanilla sex, having a mirror there and being able to watch, I think that'd be hot. But I guess I kind of don't see what the difference is between, like, no, I guess a mirror versus a video. I guess a mirror is you get to watch it in the moment.
Yes. Oh crap! What was the movie with Christian Bale?
American Psycho.
Yes, and he's just looking over and like flexing as he's fucking the girl. Yeah.
I've never seen that movie, but I know about that scene.
Yeah, I've had mirrors in the right place in the room, and I find I just don't pay a whole lot of attention to them. My attention's on my partner and what we're doing rather than what's going on across the room. And an equal amount back because of how mirrors work. It's like way over there, someone who looks a lot like me is having sex with someone, but this is where it's actually happening,
Right.
where I'm interested to be.
I don't need any help looking at myself and judging.
Here's the funny thing: when you just said that, just made me think of how they have those not fun houses, but those rooms like that have the mirrors all around, so you're reflective in all these different places. Just saying somebody going like, "And here's the orgy room, but it's just the two of us." Oh, just wait.
Yeah, that I'm kind of intrigued. Like if you had funhouse mirrors where it like caused weird things, how that would go.
Yeah. No,
No,
It would be
that
distracting.
Yeah.
That one I would not.
Yeah, you don't want funhouse mirrors. Just standard mirrors, but just like a lot of them reflecting all over.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, I've got enough hesitancies in regard to my own body. I don't need a funhouse mirror exaggerating things.
Yeah, my brain is one.
Your brain is one of my favorite parts of you.
Oh my God, the reaction there. Pariah,
What?
don't run.
I'm not running. Running's dumb.
Agreed.
All right. Well, with that, then, I believe we may have reached the end of everything for this particular episode. So let's see. Let's start with Pariah. Let's not start with Pariah.
I was like, you're about to ask her final thoughts when I just turned her thoughts off? It's a bold move.
You're right. So let's start with you.
Oh.
So, final thoughts, Joy. How was your first experience?
It's kind of about what I expected, in that I knew this combo
This combo?
was going to cause me some difficulties
This combo.
in being able to speak.
What combo?
Speak.
What
Say
combo
that.
was that?
Say that more.
But it was also
What are you looking at?
not at any of you.
Why not?
Joy, we enjoy when you look at us.
Do you want my final thoughts or not?
We're waiting for them patiently.
I was worried I wouldn't have much to contribute, and sometimes I felt like that, and then I think I had enough said that I don't feel like I embarrass myself in a way that I don't enjoy.
Aww.
That is adorable. Such a fun toy. So glad that you were here to play with us.
Too many wires.
Hey, John,
Yes, Cat.
final thoughts?
Mm.
I hate being on the spot and not knowing what to say.
I thought you were going to say you hate being on the podcast.
Final thought.
I know, we
Fuck
were
this
both-
shit. I'm out.
I was like, but what did we do?
No, it was good getting to chat with all of you in this sort of context.
Did you enjoy being the focus of attention with a bunch of those questions?
I declined to answer on the grounds that I may incriminate myself.
All right. How about Horaya?
What about me?
Final thoughts?
It was fun.
I'm glad you enjoyed yourself.
Thank you.
Thank you for being on the podcast and having so much to say. We enjoy good girls like you being on the podcast and saying a lot. Right, John?
Indeed, we do. Both of you.
Oh, they're both such good girls, right?
So very good.
So very good.
Oh my gosh, it's one thing when you guys do this in person on Wednesdays. When you're whispering in my headphones, it's...
Are we whispering right now?
No.
No, we've just achieved the right tone of voice to
truly
get into there and make her feel what we're thinking.
She enjoys feeling us deep inside. I think we got really deep there.
How was it for you?
Oh, they're holding hands for support. That's lovely, right?
I'm so in love with her.
What?
As you should be. So beautiful.
Platonic love.
Yes.
Platonic voyeuristic love, though.
Straight girl poke.
Straight girl poke.
That's what she does to my boobies.
Okay.
Did you have any final thoughts,
There
Cap?
we go. Because the last couple of episodes, I tried to start off and they're like,
Foil is very foily.
we've been foiled. As I try to eat the mic.
Your final thoughts, Captain.
Yes. My final thoughts. Well, I really enjoyed having all of you here. The good girl, the embarrassed toy, the knowledgeable man about town,
And also Hidden Jan.
who is the knowledgeable man about town. Do we need to go through all of your titles once again?
That's all right.
Wait, have we?
No, we're wrapping up. Final thoughts, Captain.
Okay, John P.D. We'll get it over with. All right, so I just want to really thank John Zillow for being on the podcast. It was great. Stage Toy, thank you. We hope that you continue to listen and come back again for another episode.
Yes, come back again.
She really wants you to just keep coming.
Come back.
Okay. You people can stop.
You people.
What do you mean, you people?
Well, because I can't say you guys because she's doing so much of it.
Oh, what did I do?
Oh, I believe we're not doing enough, is what she's saying.
Oh, my Lord.
I just said you should come again.
Are you ready to come?
I'm about to take
again?
my headphones off so Cap can complete his final thoughts.
Oh.
Why would you do such a thing?
I literally just said so you can complete your final thoughts.
What makes you think I'm not completing my final thought right now?
Oh.
I'm looking at you,
Oh.
staring at you, enjoying you this entire time. My final thought being, man, I would love to enjoy you so much more.
Oh, God.
This poor table in the middle of us. Hey, listeners, you've just heard an amazing voice prompt from some random guy. Anyway, no, my final thoughts are, as always, love this podcast, love having you guys on. Thank you both for returning. Thank you for coming for the first time over and over and over. And I learned more about dinosaurs today than I thought I was going to. I was trying to think of another one of your titles I couldn't come up with off the top of my head. Damn.
Gian Guy, the Dino Guy.
Oh, that's great.
No.
All right. But anyway, listeners, thank you for coming back once again to the Gotham Press podcast. We always enjoy you, and we hope that you enjoy us. And with that, we are out.
I think I'm kind of lightheaded right now.
You've lost a lot of liquid.
I'm gonna have to
It's all the blood rushing from my head.
edit that episode down some so it just doesn't turn into a like 50% us making voices in his ear to make her.
It's just me like moaning and giggling into microphones.
It's okay.
I think it was kind of an accessory here. That's okay.
That's a-okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that the patrons have the full episode. The full, uncut, barely edited.
Except for the part where people were using real names.
Yeah.
Cut that part.
That's a barely edited episode. And then I'll make sure I send that directly to her so she can listen to it. Because I know you want to, right?
I'm like, this is going to be like the mirror versus video thing. I just had my mirror moment.
All right. And
Coming soon, your video moment.
All right. And let me stop recording now.